We're here to
talk about entrepreneurship, talk about living fully again now that we have kratom in our lives.
Oh yeah, kratom, that's right.
And all sorts of our shenanigans we get into, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm Victor Chung.
And hopefully it helps some people. Alexander Karp. We have to start from a place that is our own passion, our experience. Live fully podcast.
Welcome everyone to the Live Fully Show. This is episode 13, I believe. Yep, awesome. Lucky number 13. It was actually Friday 13th last week, wasn't it? That explains why we had such a tough week last week. We'll talk a little bit about that if we want. Anyway, I'm Victor Chung. This is
Alexander Karp.
Well, people ask us all the time, how'd you guys get into podcasting? Why'd you create this show? And how do you get through it? And one of the reasons is because we have this amazing plant called kratom. So we usually take it before the show, but we've been a little bit busy this morning, so we're taking it now. All right.
You take one at a time? What are you doing?
5 at a time.
You take 5 at a time? How many do you take total?
10 right now.
Okay. And that helps with what? Your sciatic pain nerve? Kind of typical. Any other?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the chronic, I guess that's why it's called chronic, pain hasn't gone away yet. So blew up my back, as you know. You guys know too. I'm sure if you've seen previous episodes a number of years ago. So yeah, I have nerve damage and fractures in my back that just hasn't healed properly. So I just get constant left hip, lower back down to sciatic and left leg pain. And then my shoulder always hurts, and my knee always gets hurt, especially in cold weather, as today is with all the rain. So a little bit higher dose than normal. So normally I do 8 tablets, 2.5 grams roughly. So now we're at 10, which is 3 grams. Just to do a little preventative work.
Yeah, my dose definitely varies, especially when I travel, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
I forget about that. Re-asked me on that one. On my dosing differences.
Yeah. We actually didn't get to catch up much on the. So if you guys didn't know, Alex went to India for a number of days, right?
Yeah,
2 weeks almost.
Like a week and a half. So it was kind of a dual opportunity. I had a great friend who was going to India to go to her neighbor's wedding. She asked if I wanted to tag along because apparently I'm a good travel companion, which is always
you
good
are,
to,
man. You
which
are.
is great because it's like I love
really
traveling, so I'm happy that people like me as a companion. So I got to kind of tag along to that, and then at the same time kind of do some recon into some plant species of family. So kratom is Metragina speciosa, and there is a plant that is native to India and Sri Lanka called Metragina parvifolia.
Oh, nice mouth. Yeah. I just figured out how to say.
Metragina speciosa.
Now I got to learn this new word now. Great.
You don't have to learn it. Kadam, so it's very similar to kratom. Kadam.
I'm gonna go kadam. Kadam.
Yeah,
all right.
It's very cool. It's very cool because it's just like kratom. India has 3 major ancient kind of texts. One of them is kind of devoted to yoga and kind of the benefits, the physical side, getting your body in tune, aligning the chakras, that side from a physical side. Meditation is the aligning the chakras from the spirituality side, at least from what I understand. This could be somewhat, this is my basic understanding. Let me caveat there, so there may be inaccuracies. And
white man's interpretation.
Yes. And then their Ayuda, which is about their use of plants, medicine, natural kind of herbs to also kind of do the same, kind of relieve ailments on that side. And so Kadam is in their ancient text for their natural medicines.
Wow.
And it's very cool because just like kratom, it's used for pain relief, anti-inflammation, used for muscle relaxant when you kind of like fibromyalgia, which is kind of similar to what some of the symptoms I get from my back pain. when the muscles get super tight, and then it kind of locks up other joints and just kind of feeds off itself, that side of it. So there's muscle relaxants and reinforces this. There's multiple, I don't know, civilizations that have found plants that are similar, related to each other, and they find very similar uses for it. And so it's kind of just building on that database of knowledge for us that, yeah, this is probably why it works, because it's been around for thousands of years, different places across the world, similar uses, similar type of compounds inside of it.
Yeah.
And so it's leading to some interesting investigations for us. Mainly because in at least, so kratom, I think, as we've been doing research and most people are aware, kratom is primarily just the broadleaf. People take it off the tree, eat it fresh, or chew on it, and that, or put it kind of into a tea and use it. But Kadam in India, they have spelled out different uses for different parts of the plant. So the leaf, separate from the fruit, separate from like the tree bark, will all be used for slightly different medical ailments. And that's why what is leading us to start doing more testing now on not just kratom leaf itself, but now separating out different parts of the stem, the vein, the leaf, and now we'll start kind of trying to go into the bark and see what other alkaloids are beneficial for us.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it all. It's more work for our team to separate out all the different components of kratom and then samples, but I think it's the right thing to do for sure. You know, there just isn't enough research and information about it. So
it's like a lot of biologics out there. So it's because what happened in the 1970s is when the FDA changed a lot of the rules on biologics, because it was biologics, natural medicines were very, very common earlier in our history. But during the 1970s, FDA made it much harder for biologics to be approved and let synthetics kind of go through necessarily simpler process, but that was kind of the focus. So that's why in the last 4 decades or so, we've had all these synthetic drugs come out and very little on natural medicine side. And so now it's kind of rediscovering what is available, what's produced by nature.
Yeah.
And how do you spell Kadam for anybody that wanted to?
So if anyone knows me, I am probably notoriously the worst speller in the world. So I would appreciate. So if I yes.
K-A-I-N.
Cool.
Does not.
I am
Kadam. Like how we pronounce Kadam. So if anybody were to go search Kadam, how it sounds, they probably wouldn't find.
So
yeah, I think that was
K-A-I-M. K-A-I-M. Kayam?
Maybe we're pronouncing it wrong, or maybe just
Kadam. Yeah.
Could be. I saw. Yes. I mean, when I was looking up, I saw a couple different spellings and interpretations. So the one that I chose to latch onto was Kadam versus I am.
Sure.
Maybe we can link like any article or something like that you feel would be helpful. We can link it in the description.
Yeah. I haven't found much research on it, and so that was kind of part of the reason of trying to go to India and kind of ask around. And so it's definitely very little research on there, but we'll keep digging into it and find out what's available.
Yeah. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, and so
Speaking of your trip to India, how did your dosage of kratom change? You mentioned that it's different when you're traveling. And how did that help you with the long flight?
So in general, kratom I use more kind of on an as needed basis, because my back pain fluctuates based on my activities. So both on the activity of how much, say, soccer, mountain biking I'm doing, and then how little stretching and yoga I accompany with that. It's kind of when I start to use more kratom. And if I do stretching and kind of relax and kind of focus more on that side, then I generally use less kratom, so I don't use it day to day sometimes. And so what I found was that there were certain days that I would start off in the morning and be like, oh, I feel great. Like, my back's not tight. This is all good. And so I was like, okay, well, let's go do some sightseeing. And I would kind of delay taking the kratom. And then, but what I found out is that once I kind of waited, my muscles would start getting tight and then pain would kind of set in. And I would need a higher dose to kind of relax back to where I was, versus if I take kratom more on a preventative. There were other days and it was like, I feel good, but I'm just gonna take it because yesterday like I waited and it tightened up a couple hours later for me. And so I found that if I take it more preventative, then it kind of helps me staying in that kind of nice, loose, kind of pain-free versus having to, once I feel the pain, it takes a little bit higher. Yeah. So that's also, I would say, very common, I think, with this kind of medicine in general, is knowing your body that it's not always, it's not always just like, oh yeah, just take 2 or take a certain quantity for me. It's kind of the, how much is my body needing? And so that's what I do, is kind of start low, and then, okay, if I don't feel the effects, then I'll, increase by another, say, 25 or 50% until I get to the point where I feel good. And that's a pretty common method, which we call like titration, where you kind of just slowly increase a little bit until you get the effect you want, and then you kind of know that dosing. So the kratom was definitely helpful on kind of, because for me, what someone once called it was like the museum shuffle, where you're kind of like sightseeing, so you kind of like walk a little bit standing, kind of looking around, not really doing like super exercises that keep things loose and limber, but it's kind of like a little bit of shuffling, a little bit of standing that really locks things up. So it was incredible for being able to do that, especially when it's like I'm in cities that I'll probably only get like once in a lifetime to get there and see it. So having kratom to go through. And so basically the trip we flew into New Delhi and then took about an hour and a half flight north into a city called Chandigarh, which is the most structured city in India. And so it's actually laid out like on a grid system. It's these giant blocks of streets that are all perpendicular to each other. So big blocks kind of going around. And it's like, cause like India is very much a collection of different states, in like an analogy to the United States, where from the United States and there's all sorts of different subcultures within this country you go to. India very much the same way. So going, from the northern and the western parts, much more like desert climate. You start getting up into the Middle East. You go down to the south, is very much tropical rainforest type. So it spans a whole range, everything in between.
And so, I can see that applies to so many different countries too.
Sure.
We have
but
this,
especially with 1.3 billion.
You're
like, talking like
huge,
pretty much the extreme. It's like it's one of the largest. It's one of so it's very much very.
But I find that when I'm talking to friends that haven't traveled very much, we have this this belief that this one country, these people are very much this one stereotype, and then when you go there,
the touristy cities, right?
Yeah,
it's like there's always that very different feeling of the touristy sections versus just normal day to day, and that was part of the nice part about this trip in general, was that we stayed with a lot of friends and family throughout the whole trip. So it was, for me, it's my favorite way to travel, is kind of just going to a city, hanging out for 2 or 3 days. Yeah, it's like I like
local
some sightseeing.
Yeah,
I like some sightseeing, but it's kind of like, okay, I don't absorb as much history and kind of remember it as much as other things, and so I kind of get, I don't know, whelmed with that and kind of like done to a certain point. And it's like I just like, I don't know, pretending to be a local, hanging out, kind of enjoying going out, kind of doing the normal things that people would live there. So it was a great experience from seeing things from people that live there and kind of getting the local feel, and
especially with the culture that's so different than so you don't need to have the touristy experience to get something new, right? Just being in going to a restaurant is going to be very different there than it is here.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the nicest part about India is definitely the culture of the people, as far as the welcomingness of their nature and kind of the focus on not being materialistic, like especially like we are here in the U.S. And so that's kind of the very noticeable thing. So I mean, going around, it is much more chaotic. There's a lot more. I mean, initial reaction would be like looking at it looks more run down. Things are kind of haphazard all over the place. And I would say it's similar to parts of what I experienced in China, where it's just kind of random, chaotic, anything and everything kind of goes. But where India, I would say, I find that the culture is much more not trying to take advantage of people, much more fair and kind of just
across all the places you went to, or just
in general.
Because you went to several different parts of India.
So then after Chandigarh, we went to Jodhpur. A lot of tourists and kind of first people visit go to Jaipur, but we went to Jodhpur, which has this really cool giant fort at the top where the Mongols had for a long time. And Jodhpur is where a lot of there's a lot of craft markets and manufacturers out of there, so it's called handicraft.
Is that where you got my awesome slippers?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's some.
I should have worn them.
And that's where I found the compass for Michael.
I still have it actually.
Oh, nice.
I know. I'm supposed to.
Yeah. So
hopefully, one of our great friends and business partner, co-owner of Utomic and Pacala Consulting is Michael Chapp. Shout out to Michael. Hope he doesn't watch this before we actually give this to him. Sitting on my desk.
Yeah, so you gotta like strip it off before we get the video edited.
Yeah, exactly. But it's pretty cool. It's a really nice compass here. So
there's all sorts of. I don't know. They'll take old doors, windows, and remanufacture them into like tables, furniture. There's all sorts of. And it's just, it's amazing as far as even people within India. All the dust
leave the dust on it, right? Yeah, good. Don't ruin the patina. I watched enough of Antique Roadshow. You know, patina gives it value.
Mm-hmm. Don't clean it.
Don't clean it.
That's really cool.
Yeah. You guys want to check it out? Oh, in the room, just heads up, we have Mr. Greg. So our dear friend and also business partner. As if we didn't have enough businesses already. Let's start another one. Yay! So can't talk too much about it. It's still in development phase, and we'll be pitching it out to people soon. But Greg is instrumental on the team, and so yeah, it's exciting. And of course, he came from HP, like most of our contacts, like everyone else. That's what happens when you have 250,000 people working for a company at one time, right? So everyone has their roots in HP. So anyway, so he's in the room. Chime in if you want to join in any of this shenanigans that we do. So, we also have a nice four-legged companion in the room too. So Kyndra's dog Opie is in town and chilling out. He is
completely mellow and sleeping.
I know. He's the chillest, calmest dog.
He is awesome. He's
right?
Pretty cool.
Yeah. He's the
peak of our dog existence. So I think that after him, it'll just be like you can never get another dog.
He's gonna ruin you.
Never get that lucky again. So
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go back to the chewing phases.
So is he? What's his mix, or is he?
He's a lab Great Dane.
Lab Great Dane. So super tiny dog. Just to let you know.
Super small at 93 pounds.
You can fit Opie in your hand. No, yeah, 93 pounds. Yeah.
One day he's gonna be a kratom too.
Yeah, he'll be doing kratom soon. Well, not soon, but years from now.
His breeds, they're predisposed to hip dysplasia. His joints will eventually fail him.
Yeah.
And
good thing we have kratom.
Yep.
So will ours. I don't.
Oh,
that's right. It already has happened. Yeah. Oh, Opie, you will join the crew.
Wanted to follow up with you. So you did a product review on the purple cushion.
Yes.
Purple cushion.
Yes.
And you liked
So
it for use in office.
I did like it for the youth, and so just to kind of remind people, this is a purple cushion, which is this pretty cool honeycomb-ish effect of hyperelastic material. So again, the idea is that it provides support, but because there are little columns that collapse, it doesn't create hot spots. Kind of has a nice uniform pressure. And a lot of times, so when I go on long plane rides, I generally have pain in my lower region of where I'm sitting, and it's just kind of the pressure of sitting on a hard surface after a while just hurt. And so I tried lots of things. I used to bring like other pillows, like memory foam pillow, like a little blow up pillow, and kind of just like shift around a little bit because I get like a pressure spot. And so I figured, okay, well, I'll bring this pillow. And I would say this is not the most convenient to travel with by any means. I mean, the thing
doesn't
weighs,
roll like nice and tight.
It doesn't really compact very well. I mean, it's okay if you kind of jam it into a backpack, and it is rather heavy. I mean, this thing weighs several pounds. I mean, it's not.
Ooh, what the hell?
It's very, very heavy.
It is heavy. It's heavier than you would think. Like you think it's like foam, right? So
this thing is quite incredible for travel.
On the airplane just like that?
I would kind of like you can kind of like
butt pillow.
You can kind of like roll it up, and like it doesn't really. It's not quite. But yeah, I would just kind of jam it into any pocket that was available in my backpack, and I would say this is definitely worth it for me as far as if you have hard time sitting in a seat, I would recommend this for sure because it's really it was good.
So did you experience any pain, or was your pain just minimized because of?
Nothing noticeable. I mean, before when I would travel, so it was like a 11-hour flight, 12-hour flight to London, and then 8.5, 9.5 hours down to New Delhi, and so a couple long flights just to get there. And there wasn't any time where I was massaging my quads or anything on the other side to try and loosen up or create some of those, because like it feels almost like bed sores are starting to sit or create when I kind of normally sit on seats.
Man, you just need to gain some weight, man. Put some meat on that rump.
Yeah.
Dang, I tell you, I don't have any of those problems. So, I know, I would know what that's like. This booty serves me well. What's that?
Butt implants.
You need butt implants, man. You can get the purple pillow or butt implants. Your choice.
But even rolling it up into your backpack, like it still holds its form. Like it'll pop right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
Yep. No.
By all means, if you're cramming it in something.
Right, and it's not like memory foam where it kind of like slowly rebounds. It's just it's an instant rebound, so it's pretty okay from all that stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
I think like the only thing different, like I wish I could like clip it onto like my backpack just so like it'd be like a cushion on my back. Then I could do like a dual purpose. That'd be like super awesome.
I'm surprised you haven't actually
purple like
done it already.
You guys should patent that side.
Like everything in our warehouse is like has like Alex's touch on it.
I know. I will probably do that for my next trip coming up before after the trip. So that will be worth it. It's another couple long flights. That'll be perfect. And then I can enjoy it.
Ask Greg to help you.
Hunger. I will definitely. Need a sewing machine.
Greg is also a fellow engineer, ex-engineer, current. I guess you're always an inventor and all that. So yeah.
You never leave the dark side.
You can't leave the dark side. So
I do like that quote. Is it Mark Roper? Roper, yeah. So when you're an engineer, if you don't like it exactly as you want it, you can make it exactly as you want it.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be the next thing is
your life motto. Like
pretty much.
Anything that you get that you're like, this should be like this, you just alter it, and it works.
Okay.
Majority of time.
Most of the time.
Temporarily.
It always works at first. It always works at first. Time tested.
And as Greg said, last week that I do appreciate, even temporary solutions are still solutions.
That's true. That is true.
So, yes. Okay.
Look, if you wear that on your backpack at one time,
it was
no time.
Exactly. So that's so
very true.
So very happy.
Better than most of us. We can't even get that one. So without.
We would not have even thought of that one.
No.
That's the problem.
But see, that's my thing too. So like, I prefer to live my life of complete ignorance and happiness. I would get that and be like, this is great, yay! I would never think like, God, if only XYZ things that need to change for it to be good. No.
I'm just not that creative person, and then when I see people that make a fortune on something like a Snuggie, and you think to yourself, why did I not think to sew the bottom of a blanket together?
Yeah.
It's just not. That's just not who I am. My brain doesn't think that way. But then you see people that do the most basic things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think of like I hate to get back to products and all this stuff, but just think about like edges, right? I just like him and I both were the same in that we had iPhones we loved our phones. They were nice and all that. We didn't want a case on it. My approach was, I'll just be super careful and won't drop it. And if I do drop it, oh well, I'll just buy a new one. It's not a big deal. He's like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna design these tiny little corners and figure out how to make this thing work and spend years doing it.
Right.
Like, crazy man. Thank God you did it though.
You're the crazy one that joined.
Right, I know, I'm the crazy one actually. And now look at it, huh? Still works. I love it. I love it. Still good. Utomic Edge.
Huh?
Not so subtle product placement. And Star Wars apparently. This phone is brought to you by Star Wars. My God. You'd think I'm like a die-hard fan of Star Wars with everything. I just like things to be consistent.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna put one thing, I want the rest to be.
No, I would call you.
So wait. Yeah, you're.
I was
Oh
talking
my.
about you as a
Yes.
total diehard fan.
No.
Yeah.
You wore
I'm a
Star
casual.
Wars shirt on the day that you went to go see the Star Wars movie in the movie theater. That is a diehard fan.
It's again consistency. All right, fine, whatever. Moving on.
Wait.
Speaking
So
of, did you want to show us? You have something else on the table that's not your regular phone.
What's it? Oh yeah. This is we're always testing out new designs and new things. So this is just an iPhone, an old iPhone with different edges. So that's all. So no big deal. Yeah.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek all the way, man. Star Trek all the way.
Alright, so
There's
you're
just-
redeeming yourself a little bit now from like the Star
Yeah, but the problem with Star Trek is just that they don't have good swag. Like they don't have good merchandising.
that's
Like
true.
Star Wars, you cannot beat, especially now they partner with Disney. It's like everything is, there's kettlebells.
There's
For Star Wars
God, yeah.
kettlebell. I can
There's
deadlift
shavers,
like yoga.
there's shavers that are now like
And you know
R2D2
you can buy
design
those
and
off for like $9.99 at Marshalls, but they're gonna sell it for
Yeah.
oh yeah.
for $50 for that.
Oh no, more than that.
Really?
It's like I can't remember what I paid for. I mean, what I saw online for it.
You legit bought a Star Wars kettlebell?
Did you buy a Star Wars?
I
kettlebell?
pre-ordered, all right, because it's not really.
Oh.
It's not for me. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's not for me. Okay, I'm just saying.
Wow.
I'm not. It's for a friend. It really is for a friend.
Yeah, like when it's like a friend's asking.
It's for a friend. I'm not. Okay, fine. I might be a bit of a fan. Star Wars. Jesus Christ. I guess that step one is like accepting what you're right. Admit my problem. All right, I have a problem. I might have a problem.
They can't see it, but your desk has like little figurines on it. Too.
Oh, I know. Mostly Star Trek. Though, see?
Yeah, there's some Star Trek out there, right?
Yeah. I haven't watched the new Star Trek show though. The one I guess it's not so new. They're probably until like a couple seasons
Yeah.
now. Just haven't had time. Discovery. Yeah. Any good?
It is, but it's a little difficult to now be able to enjoy and watch that with my son because it's a little darker and the language is surprising.
Ah. Okay.
So it's a little
This is like this is like ours are perking up on this like exactly.
And, the first episode or the first two episodes, he was really excited about it.
Mm.
The next episode, suddenly I started hearing some of the language that I didn't want him exposed to, so I had to.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was a little disappointed, but the episodes, I like them. I think it's pretty good.
Cool. I gotta check it out for sure. I was watching Orville actually. It's that
Yeah.
knockoff of Star Trek and with a little humorous touch with.
I'm a Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah. I like everyone's giving it a bunch of crap. Like it is what it is. It's not trying to take itself seriously. It's obviously a Star Trek ripoff with a comedic twist. I mean that's what it is. And it still has the same kind of moral dilemmas and it was I actually liked it. I think people are giving it and I have watched that with Enzo. So him and I enjoy watching Orville. A couple of those episodes were a little bit like, whoa, alright. So, a lot of getting it on, alien style, So, anyway,
All right,
moving on.
to discuss entrepreneurship today.
Entrepreneurship,
We want to talk about customer engagement.
customer engagement, importance of customer engagement. Right? So we've talked about customer service and the more traditional things that you do to engage with your customers, but lately for Etha, especially for Etha, but Utomic as well too, we've been trying something a little bit different. and I think it's been a good learning experience. So what we've done is we've put ourselves personally out there on social media. So if you go on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you can find Alex and myself, obviously like everyone else in this world. We're all there. But we try to devote a good portion of the day just to log on, be available for folks to, I'm still getting the lingo down, so sorry if I'm not doing the right acronyms, but PM or DM or I don't know, direct message, private message, whatever. We allow people. It's all the same, right? All right. One time I wrote DM, they're like, it's supposed to be PM. I'm like, okay, so just message me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've kind of made ourselves available, and it's been I've enjoyed the experience. It's one, you're staying up to date on the latest things that are happening within that industry. You're getting direct feedback from customers, a wide range of customers, so folks that are perhaps never experienced your product whatsoever, others that are longtime users, others that are going to be, anti your product or against it or whatever it is, and then you get trolls and all those people too, and it's just interesting engaging with all those different facets of people.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice having, so as a business owner, it's nice having these platforms where you can have direct communication with customers. Where in the past, and when I was, at HP, we'd have to try and do
focus groups,
surveys and focus groups, and you bring in like 6 people into a room and ask them about this kind of stuff, and so you're getting very limited feedback from a few people that happen to be available on that day or available to come in for a focus group. Where this is now, we get more customer feedback and a range, as you said, from everything from individual users to now finding out kind of individual retailers and kind of their challenges, which is allowing us as a company to now find what are those big pain points for a different set of customers and now offer services. So now we can start doing testing services, processing services, tableting services, wholesale, that side of it. Now kind of giving us that direct feedback to move faster and make changes faster to serve a need that we didn't maybe originally think was out there to begin with.
With Etha, the way the company looked just in February 1 to now, a couple months later, is in a lot of ways, radically different. We've improved so much, and it's thanks to this feedback that we're getting from people. What are the things that you guys are looking for? Tell us. I'll put our product out there and ask people's feedback, and it's been really helpful to kind of learn about. Well, we're looking for extensive lab testing and verifying that this is kratom and that it hasn't been adulterated or contaminated and all these kinds of things. Like, wow, well, we wanted the same thing, and that was one of the reasons why we started the company. It was great to see that folks also had that same issue or want from their kratom. So we're all aligned there. It's like, oh, great, cool, we're doing the right thing. Surprising to see that there was such a need within the kratom community. There weren't many people that do this, lab testing. Retailers. Yep. Or that tablet pressing was, it seemed like such a miracle to be able to press kratom into tablets. We just thought, it just takes a little engineering and some time, and we'll figure this out. And I'm wondering if others are doing it, and they're not. They're just not. So it's
happy to do it for other people.
Exactly. And so our business has shifted in a good way. And I think we said we want to be a good example of
we want the whole industry to advance.
Exactly.
Keep growing, to keep getting more awareness, helping more people is our ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's any way we can help that is great.
Yeah.
So,
and that's it's not just it's not just that it's obviously there's self-serving component to it. We're selling a product, we're selling a service, we're making money. That's obvious. But we're also trying to just advance. We're making money. Well, someday we'll make money.
Yeah, see, I think it goes back to the profits are a necessity for a business, but it should not be the only goal. I mean, profits are needed to enable us to do more testing, to do more services, to help to keep growing that education side.
Yep.
It's the issue that there's a lot of rather large companies in this world that profits and stock price is the only thing that is a focus. And it's like, well, okay, well, what's your purpose? What's the mission? And that's what gets lost. So it's nice to see people supporting a mission and a purpose that's not only for monetary gain.
Yeah. And I like that we are using this platform, this show, to help kind of spread the word and put that education and things that we learn, we share. We're not grabbing information and just keeping it to ourselves, right? We're very much open. You can ask me a question on Facebook, and I will do my best to answer and provide any information, any research that we've learned. And we're an open book. We're transparent, and I think that serves not only our relationship with our customers well, but also serves the greater community. So.
And it's really you guys behind that. You don't have. It's not the customer service team on your Facebook responding to you.
No, you're for good or bad. So you are talking.
Apologize if we don't get back to people quickly because it's not. I mean, there's a lot going on. It's always.
We were trying our best. We are definitely trying our best. It is tempting to say, like, I wonder if I could just get the customer service team to be me for a day. It's like, it's just not the same. There's a voice, there's a tone, there's an expectation that people have to want to talk to you, and so, good or bad, it is what it is. You write to Victor, you're getting Victor. Yeah? So write to Alex. He's really just take out the middleman.
I'm slow in responses to the issue.
That's the issue. I'm accessible all the time. He's not so much. So, but what ends up happening if they ask me a really technical question, if anyone goes like, whatever, what temperature of, when you say heat treatment, what temperature are you really talking about? And is there a range? And will it affect the alkaloid content if you go above 250? I'm like, I don't. Hey, Alex.
You speak in all types.
Yeah, just talk, right? Yeah, got it. Yeah, good. So, done. So, anyway, it's been a good experience. So, sometimes it could definitely try your patience, and I need to learn to not react to trolls and people that are just out to make everyone's life miserable. That's part of the internet, but it's a work in progress. When you see me go like, oh, I'm going after this.
I do that a lot. Whoa, okay, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Slow down.
That's not the best response. Okay, yeah.
But they're attacking us.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Anything else for that topic? Or?
I don't think that's good. So yeah, PM, DM, whatever. Us if you, whatever you want. So, and we're also part of Facebook groups. Some really great ones out there. All Things Kratom is a good one that. Shout out to Mindy, who's running a great Facebook group. She's doing a wonderful job. She's been advocating for Kratom much longer than any of us have. And I'm just thankful to be part of it and doing my part to share whatever knowledge I have and what Alex has mostly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, speaking of that, so with the kind of back to the findings on Kadam and the whole different parts of the plant, and we get some of that testing back, we'll kind of be able to share on that side.
Yeah, I might be curious on the results.
I mean, definitely, I take different types of kratom for my different needs. So pain, I go more towards the green side, which is more kind of the sunrise blends that we have. And then when I start feeling more of the muscle tightness, that it's like, let's say it's pain, but it's a different feeling. It's not like the sharp pain in the lower back. It's kind of more of that tightness that just keeps everything bottled up. And then I switch or kind of supplement with more red vein sunset to kind of help the muscle relax inside. Personally, kind of how I use the two varieties. I don't know, what do you stick to, or what's your kind of?
I am a sunrise blend in the morning, so sticking to the white and greens in the morning, and in the evening, I've been just guinea pigging actually. For every single night, I've been trying something different. And I know we're looking into fermented kratom and yellow vein and all those different variations. And even it's one thing to kind of claim that extracts or things that are potentially harmful can be harmful without actually experiencing it yourself. It's hard for me to speak fully on it. So lately, I've been kind of talking about extracts and enhanced kratom. That's a big thing that these Indonesian suppliers are trying to push on people is enhanced kratom, right? So, and what they're doing is they're adding resins and extracts to it. And we've talked before about, the dangers of kind of going down that route. I've been trying it to see what is the effect for me personally, and no surprise, it's been a bad experience across the board. So 2 nights ago I did Red Dragon. Yeah, Red Dragon. Love these names, by the way. So it's mostly red strain with a red extract that's been added back into the powder. So they boil it down into a resin and then add it back into the powder. And so I've tried that, and I had this like nice spike. You saw me at nighttime. I was like a rush. I was like, I gotta like do something. I need to like work out or do something. And then I crashed and I slept so hard that night. I couldn't wake up in the morning. And when I finally woke up, Enzo had to like come into my room like 2 or 3 times. Like, Dad, I need to go to school. Like, you need to get up. I'm like, oh, gee.
Yeah, and you also said the pain wasn't gone as much, right?
No.
So you got more of like an energy rush and kind of like.
Yeah, which is weird with red, especially. So it was,
I could say, well, I mean, because like you don't get like the muscle tightness, right? You're just more the sciatic pain.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably why you didn't get the pain relief, because it wasn't directed towards the muscle relaxant side.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. And then I actually woke up with a headache too. So I had a mild headache, and I just didn't like. Now this is one experience, but it was kind of aligned with the research that we've looked into, and
our previous experimentations with some of the extracts and kind of
more of the same. So yeah.
So be careful with extracts.
Yeah, be careful with extracts or enhanced kratom.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do go down that route, ask how they're actually doing the extraction process too, right?
Good point, yeah.
So I'm not too familiar with tinctures and creating resins and all that, but
sure.
I imagine how you do it is gonna. It's just another step in the procedure that can have issues, right?
Right.
So.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway. All right. Anything else?
News and current events. You guys ready for?
News and current events. What's going on
It's
lately?
been a couple weeks of being heads down on some production tooling, trying to get lines back up and running. So I don't know what current events are going to be up here.
I know. I'm like, what's happening lately?
There's an article that was titled, "Can a Brain Implant Treat Alzheimer's?" And then it had the tagline, "It might just be placebo."
Might
what
be.
The article basically talks about is they take 3
You're already like doubting over there.
Well, only
So
because like some of the
placebo.
research I know on what most likely causes Alzheimer's and Parkinson's is kind of not necessarily treatable by an implant. I'd be surprised.
Yeah. So basically what the article is saying is they took only 3 people, so a very small sample size.
3 people?
3 people is the sample size?
Hear out the article for 1 second,
All right.
and you can give your opinion. So 3 people.
We're not even let you get through this article.
No.
Next.
We're hating on Clearly, we have some bias on our side. But okay, yeah. All right.
Out of those 3 people, only 2 people were implanted with the virus.
Okay.
So one person not
Control.
implanted. Yes.
So they did at least have a control.
Both were rated out of 4 out of 5 on the scale. It was pretty severe. Like their condition was pretty severe.
Some sort of dementia or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What they do is they basically implant 2 little wires into your brain, and then you have what they call a power supply that's implanted into your skin, like by your collarbone. And so that's what controls, and they can control how much whiskey they're sending or whatever. So I guess they've had success with this with Parkinson's disease, but they were skeptical of it having any real success for Alzheimer's. So out of the 2 patients did show improvement. But again, it was only out of 3 patients. So their outcome was better than the 3rd patient that did not have any.
How did they measure?
What they have found was that the dementia aspect of it, of not remembering who you are, was not improved. And so they don't think that's not really what they're targeting. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get people to be back to living a sustainable life. So you remembering to eat lunch that day, remembering how to put on your shoes, like the day-to-day functions, and remembering how to do acts of actually self-care. targeting more so than I remember, the family vacation I went on 10 years ago.
Right. Okay.
So that's what they're targeting. They did report that the 2 patients did, although their level of severity on like the Alzheimer's scale still increased as it would have over time, but they did report that their functionality had improved.
So this is a long study then. It wasn't
2
just
years.
a 2-year study. 2-year study, 3 people, 1 control. Of the 2 people, they both said they had improvements over the 2
Their
years.
family members actually reported it.
Their
Like,
family
the
members said
cousins,
that they're...
people that work in the day-to-day, the caretakers, the
Alright.
day-to-day people had showed. Now,
Yeah,
their
Alzheimer's got worse,
skepticism on
but
it is
okay.
that because it wasn't a blind study and it wasn't like a random selection,
Mm-hmm.
that doctors could have essentially selected patients that maybe were showing a slower decline to implant. So maybe for 2 years, if you're on a slow decline, then maybe
Clinical trials are notorious for
Yes.
massaging data, and this has been like, just.
Yeah.
How can you even
But like,
release a study
there you
with
go,
only
look at
3 people?
And the thing is, like, but that's like, I mean, what? So the implant is electrical pulses to some part in the brain.
Just
Do you know what
electrical
part of the brain?
stimulation?
They don't specify
Probably the
it.
front.
Because I mean, like, it doesn't.
Frontal lobe.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, like, the
Probably,
research,
right?
like, the most, I would say the most, not credible, but kind of like the most plausible, like, explanation of what Alzheimer's is the brain not being able to adequately clear out toxins that get developed, because during sleep is kind of
The plaque
the
buildup
same,
that happens
the plaque
in the brain.
is the same mechanism that feeds our brain with blood supply and oxygen, actually starts removing the toxins during sleep on the outside of those same veins. And so what they're finding is there's a correlation between people that don't sleep very well as you get
Makes
older and
sense.
older, and you start developing Alzheimer's and dementia. And so thinking that stimulating part of the brain to fix that, it doesn't make sense on why that would help as much.
So I saw something kind of like what you're reading, and what they were doing is saying because there's plaque buildup within the brain, they are rerouting a signal to circumvent the plaque and going right into hippocampus and the frontal lobe, but they're actually sending not just electrical stimulation but data. They're trying to actually so they were, and I didn't prepare for this. This is the top of my head, like a month ago, 2 months ago. But I don't know how many people were in the study, all that. But they quizzed them by showing them, I think, some pieces of information, and then asking them to remember whatever that was. And then these folks with dementia couldn't guess on any of it. And then they sent the actual information of what those things are through the signal to the brain, and then people were able to like guess, a fair amount of it. I'm like, wow, this is kind of interesting that we can bypass through these chips. So it's really fascinating.
Cyborgs are coming.
Yeah, I'm like, oh god,
That would be exciting. That would be amazing to be
It
able to.
says in here that depending on the current, the wires can either boost activity in the nearby brain cells or reduce it. So
Okay.
like for Parkinson's disease, they reduce it, so you don't have like the trembling and stuff.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense.
But that's what they don't specify what part of the brain they're targeting.
That's cool.
it's interesting. It's sad that this is an issue that so many of us have to deal with, and to one degree or another, you're gonna get old, you're gonna have issues.
We're all going to suffer from it.
We're all gonna suffer to some degree, and we've talked about the preventative things that you can do, and I'm still not.
Lion's mane mushrooms.
No, I need to get on it. I really do. So
It's tough to know if that works.
Remember, you're not.
I know.
Done.
That's fine. That's cool.
But that would be one of my if I could pick like I don't know, like a utopian dream, something to come true. Like some things, like being able to like fly would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like one other thing that I would love is kind of like the whole Matrix style, where you just have like a plug in your brain where you can just download mass amounts of information and knowledge. Yeah, like that would be incredible. That's one of my things I would love to like.
Whatever he said, I don't know.
I know kung fu.
I know kung fu. Is that what he said? Yeah. All right. I might have been high when I was watching it in college. Come on, I'm the only one.
So that makes you remember better, right?
Is it? Not me. Dang. Jeez. Anyway. Oh, what's the
CBD?
alcohol? No, not the CBD. We can talk about CBD, but my sister even called me about CBD yesterday. So.
Yeah, CBD is getting a lot of press and a lot of I mean, there's definitely some benefits to CBD for local inflammation. There's some, which it still needs THC to be activated in a small dose. So CBD by itself is not good. So make sure if you're trying CBD, get it from a source that is cannabinoid based as far as not industrial hemp production, because most likely, and a lot of what's out there, especially coming from China, being imported like crazy because hemp production's outlawed in the US. So make sure you get legitimate CBD coming from marijuana, cannabinoid, THC side as well.
Good, nice little health tip there.
Yeah, so do that side for sure. But yeah, I mean, I've tried CBD for my pain, going through a lot of self-experimentation, and CBD helps mainly me with sleeping at night, not nearly as much for pain relief. I have had some reports of my parents using kind of CBD for joint inflammation, so there's definitely some benefits, but be careful because it is such a booming topic right now that it's being promised to cure anything and everything out there. So it's over the top, ridiculous. Yeah.
The claims that they make on websites.
Extraordinary.
It'll make you fly. Like what?
It's amazing that they claim that. And
yeah.
They was claiming that on their website.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem is that there is making marketing claims. There is no one. The FCC doesn't go out and stop people from doing this. It is against FCC policies, but unless there is a lawsuit, like a class action lawsuit going against the company, no one's going to really care about it. So you have to be. It's up to, unfortunately, the consumer to do the research and look and see what is valid and not valid.
So it doesn't make you fly?
No. Nor does it. Yeah, my sister called me last night. She's, she has an aggressive autoimmune disease, and poor thing, she's been suffering for years. And she's like, I need to take CBD oil. I hear like that's gonna cure everything. Whoa, hold your horses. She's like, I'm googling it right now, and it says cures autoimmune. I'm like, cures autoimmune disease. All right, I gotta I'm gonna stop it. I'm super busy. It's midnight. I'm gonna stop everything because this is important enough. Let's do some research. Let's talk about it. And it's a lot of BS, a lot of just grandiose claims without any substantiated data. So I did ask her to look into essential oils, and if you're gonna go that route anyway. So I don't have any recommendations. I just barely cursory did some search on all different kinds of essential oils. There's several that are good for so the kind of anti-inflammatory inflammation, helping to manage that, and pain and numbing and all those kind of effects of at least Christina's particular autoimmune disease that she has, and kind of a mixture of some kind of psoriasis with autoimmune disease. So it's
do you remember any of the oils?
Chamomile essential oil was one that was used. There's several that were. Eucalyptus is one that's on there too, which we've tried eucalyptus oil, and it works for a great numbing, like it numbs out an area.
Yeah, topical numbing effect for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I like the smell of eucalyptus, but Lisa hated it, so every time I put it on, she's like, "You're sleeping in another room." So I always had a debate. I'm like, do I want pain relief or do I want to be with my wife?
Well, Kratom, you got both now.
I know, that's right. Oh yeah, she loves me on Kratom. Definitely more tolerable. So, I don't know if it's solved my snoring, but could be like carnivore diet, losing weight, or breathing exercises that I've been doing. This meditation that I do every day, deep breathing that you've taught me, and then Kratom. One of it, but I do not snore anymore, which I don't really care, but
so
Lisa loves.
Speaking of that, so it just reminded me. I'm away back from India. We went through London and stopped. And so we stopped
you spent some days in London.
Yeah, I spent like 2-3 days in London. Meeting with some of Linda's friends, and it's another great experience just hanging out kind of locally, doing the whole local hangout and that side of things. But one of our friends does competitive swimming. And he actually he swims across the English Channel like multiple times. He's done this.
It's just his day.
Just like swimming, like massive swimmer, like so much so that he has actually fallen asleep while swimming.
Nice.
It sounds real dangerous.
Right?
But just kept on going.
Yeah, he just like kept swimming. Like he woke up and kept swimming. It's like, and I guess it's like it makes sense. Just like it highlights how adaptable the human body is. I mean, if you think about it, it's. Okay, I mean, like your shoulder muscles are doing this motion and kicking. It's like, well, can you fall asleep doing that? It's like, well, you fall asleep and your heart's beating the whole time. You're breathing, so it's possible for your body to have muscle movement and sleep still. So like it's all plausible, and like it happens like as there's other reports of people being able to do an activity and fall asleep, which is just crazy.
Your body's in the zone and it just keeps.
Yeah, it's like, and it's just that's how adaptable the human body is.
Sometimes I just show up at home and don't realize how I got there.
Yeah. So you're like, whoa, where am I? I'm here. Auto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Autopilot.
You're autopilot the whole
And he
time.
named it, how many turns did I just make? I don't remember making those turns.
Right.
Obviously,
I just got here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's
well,
kind of
there's,
like what
there's that adage,
hypnosis
right?
is, right? Almost hypnosis is kind of going to that similar type of
Yeah.
semi-unconscious kind of state where you're doing things without kind of realizing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's that adage. What is it? You know, it's so easy I can do it in my sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. We say it all. Okay, no more breaks for the staff. All right, you guys can just sleep, but you keep on going. Just keep on working. That's your break. Right. Sorry. Oh. All right. Is that it? All right. Good show. All right. Well, as always, everybody, if you want more of this, please subscribe and follow us and comment, and we'll do our best to respond to every single comment, and reach out to us on all the social media outlets. And of course, check out our two companies. Like Alex said, we need profits to be able to continue all of this. So really appreciate your support there. So Utomic, if you have these lovely, awesome supercomputers and want to protect it without covering it all up, and want to do that and totally be okay, that's Utomic Edges and all the other products that we have. And of course, our Etha kratom, both in powder and tablet form here. I can do the handout. Yeah.
Travel pack samples are available, so see if you qualify for a free sample.
Yep, you get some free samples there. Definitely always, try it yourself, and you'll love it. So, I guess that's it. So, thanks everybody for watching, and as always,
Live boldly.
oh baby.